call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of the minutes from April 11th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting.
I just have one thing I noticed. My last name is spelled incorrectly all over the document.
Yes, I noticed that as well when I was looking at it today.
We'll just have to do a find and replace.
Yep, we'll get that updated.
That's all I have.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with my last name spelled correctly.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Any to approve the minutes of April 11th. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Number 4, we have a public hearing, rezoning of 221, 301, 305 Ash Avenue South and adjacent outlet properties from the CI Commercial Industrial District to R1 Low Density Residential District. We will start the public hearing now.
Thank you, Tom. The public hearing for tonight, as Tom said, is for the rezoning of 3 properties that are currently zoned commercial industrial. You can see up here, these are the 3 properties in question. This originally began when Mr. Kuski came in to apply for a building permit to add on to his property. And then we discovered that the current properties were zoned commercial industrial, which is a non-conforming use, which means that residential construction cannot occur. This was after the city planner, John Anderson, reviewed it and recommended we move forward with the rezone. We originally just looked at Ryan's property, but then when we looked at the future 2024 comp plan designated use of the property, we saw that not only was Ryan's properties supposed to be, future planning is for residential, but also the 2 properties to the south were also planned to be residential in the 2040 comp plan. So at that point, we expanded it out to include those other 2 properties and make this a 3-property rezone action. So these 3 properties will get rezoned to from commercial industrial to residential R1, as it shows on the maps there. The other condition as part of this is, switch over to GIS here. Right here is Ryan's property proper, and then there is also this sliver that's back here. And these 2 pieces of property are in 2 different plats, which, so if 2 properties are in 2 different plats, they cannot be combined or have the parcels combined unless there is a replat which takes place. Being that Mr. Kuski wants to get going on his project, in lieu of a replatting process, which would take quite some time and delay his project significantly, we've come up with the option, and would be a condition of the rezone, to do a deed restriction. So this would be a legal document that is then ran with the property and appended to the deed. And the deed restriction would say that one of these parcels cannot be sold without the other, so they have to be sold in tandem. They can't be broken up that way. And then the second part is that no structure can be built beyond this property line, which with Ryan's plans will be just fine on that. The reason this came to a head on this is because with Ryan's plans and his build out, he does not have the required setback for that area to this property line, but he does have the setback if you include the whole thing. So we're trying to make this work in as expeditious way as possible. Ryan and I have talked on this, and the deed restriction sounds like a good option. Deed restrictions are good for 30 years, but Ryan and I have talked, and in the future, we'd look at a replat to see if we can't combine that and get that taken care of in the future. So that is the long and short of the rezone request. Have any questions from the commission or anybody in the audience?
Is there any,
I was just curious because when you go to your property taxes from the county, it says residential homestead. How does that not coincide with zoning, I guess?
The short answer is they're two different things. How the county classifies property for taxation purposes is different than
And
how.
what the city's gonna zone it then? I got you, okay.
Yep, so zoning is use.
Yep,
What the county does with their assessment is for taxation purposes in their proper process.
is there any way to track, because there's been a house there since 47, so, I mean, must have been zoned that way back in the 40s then, 30s?
Maybe.
I was just curious. Les?
What are you saying now? You're saying that it's not zoned, or it's not rated as a residential?
It is residential homesteaded from the county,
Yeah, but not to the city?
not to the city, no.
Well, this goes back to when you want to take Main Street and
Yeah.
thinking that we're going to get businesses to turn, these houses will turn into businesses. It was a way to hold back on the owners from spending so much or something like that, but it's not going in that direction.
Well, I imagine back when they built the lumberyard,
Everything
that's what
connect-
zoned
connect-
all
connect-
that,
Yeah,
that way, because the road was on the other side of the lumberyard at the time, and then they didn't care to rezone it.
But you're being taxed for residential.
Yep, yep, yep,
yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
yep, exactly. No, that's.
Yeah, you would think like Delco's too. Well, then it would keep going north past my parents' place, you
Yep.
know, as commercial property was needed. Well, that's not how it's working now.
No,
The residential just stay there.
It's gonna be residential.
So yes,
So,
after the rezone, it'll be residential. But like I said, the zoning classification and how the county taxes are two different, they're completely different
okay,
methodologies.
that should be it. Thank you.
All right. So it's gonna be a tough decision. I don't know, should we get ballots out or?
I just wondered, Nick, if the other two property owners had been contacted or just no more than it being a public hearing.
Just being a public hearing, so they did receive notice of it too.
So the restricted deed thing, that's because it's not a one parcel.
Right. So if it was just this parcel with what Ryan submitted as a building permit, he would not meet the setbacks. So in order to remedy that,
What would be for him a better thing to combine the two properties?
ultimately, yes, but the replatting is a lengthy process.
Well, he'd like to get going.
It's a costly process.
I'm fine with the action plan that's in place just to allow for Kuskies to continue on their project and not be delayed for,
So there's 4 possible actions here. Would you like to pick one?
can I do all 4? Or do I have to do them all at once? Do we have to close the public hearing?
We do.
Yeah, we should close the public hearing first.
Okay, so no further comments?
Yep.
Close the public hearing.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to recommend the approval of the rezoning subject to conditions.
I'll second.
So motion's been made and second to recommend approval of the rezoning subject to the conditions. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'd like to make a motion to table the rezoning to a date specific. Is that what we're doing
Oh,
or
no,
no?
I'm
So that
sorry.
was an
These
option.
these are the 4 options that are
Oh.
available. Yeah, so, yeah, possible action items, you
So I
could,
picked the right one.
yes, yes.
Unless you wanted a table.
No, I don't. I don't want to table it. I want to recommend it.
You deny it.
Read it before you come to the meeting.
I did. I didn't see the bottom. I'm not used to John's stuff, so.
I'm not used to John's stuff. I came up here and he gave me a lowdown.
Okay, well, just ignore what I'm saying, so.
Still?
Well, next meeting is what, July 2nd?
Will July 2nd work for everybody?
Sure. Not for me.
No?
It's right there with the 4th, so some people.
I will be out of, I will not be around.
You want to carry it to the following Tuesday?
Unknown.
No.
Good.
Either way?
I don't have a life, so anything works.
Following Tuesday would be, the following Tuesday, the 9th would be Parks and Rec. Is on the second Tuesday.
I have to stick around for the Wednesday anyways.
All right.
So what was the conclusion on that one, peoples? Tuesday, July 2nd?
Second.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Anything on the commissioner's report?
I was wondering if there's anything done with the vacancy of a commissioner.
We put it out there for a month and we got one applicant back that showed interest. So that's where currently,
Like a township person or?
it was an in-town person.
Thank you, Ryan. I missed that. Thank you for coming and
Oh, thank you. So we're all good?
we're good.
Recommendation will be to, the recommendation to council is to approve the rezone. So I'll have that on the agenda for Monday.
See you next Monday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fight that one out.
Was there anything done on like the?
Nothing yet. We're going to bring that back. John couldn't make it tonight. I was going to have him present the language and what have you, but he couldn't make it tonight. And I thought there was only going to be 3 out of 5 tonight to make quorum. And
Put that in the ordinance.
so at the July 2nd meeting, I would like us, or like John to come back with discussions on the, not just the containers, but there was also questions on trees as well. Bring those back for the discussions. That was requested.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
Motion made second to adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Go be a lion. Leslie.